Hi, welcome into Community Talk. I'm Frank Baker, and I'm here to talk about something that is kind of taking up my every waking moment right now in a good way, and that's the play Calendar Girls, which is coming to the Gaslight Theatre in May. We're just a little ways away from opening. It's going to be May 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then let me get this down right. Then the 12th, 13th, and 14th at the Gaslight. It's a beautiful play written by Tim Firth. And it was made into a motion picture that many of you may have seen, starring Helen Mirren a few years back. With me is one of my many leading ladies, one of our calendar girls, the illustrious, impeccably coiffed Carmen Ball. And Carmen, let's talk about the story of Calendar Girls, because, like I say, not everybody's seen the film, but it kind of surprised me to find out that it was a true story.
Oh, it is a remarkable story about a group of women who are in the WI, which is a women's organization in Great Britain. And one of them's husband becomes ill and subsequently dies from cancer. And they decide what they want to do to honor him is raise some money for the hospital where he spent his last time. And they decide they need to raise money quickly. So what sells? They're going to do a nude calendar. And it's just a remarkable story of these women who band together through their friendship and their love of one of their husbands to just do this remarkably unselfish, goofy-ass thing.
Well, what was so stunning is, once again, being based on a true story, the enormous amount of money they were able to raise, because initially the whole plan was just to raise enough money to buy a leather settee for the cancer ward at the hospital, and they ended up raising enough money to buy, what was it?
They ended up naming the whole wing after the one member's husband. It was just remarkable. They, by 100-fold, raised more than they expected to.
Now, even though the hook for this, you talk about Calendar Girls and doing a nude calendar, and I think the kind of the phrase we've utilized in talking about the play itself is gently risque, because that's what it is. It's one of those things where it's all about illusion, and everybody is magnificently covered. You think you're seeing more, perhaps, than you really are. But we've got to do, I want to try to thank everybody involved with the play, but Heather Palmer, who's working backstage as our stage manager, has recently returned to Enid after an absence of a number of years. And all of our ladies kind of hide behind these different arrangements, from flowers to candy and cakes, and she's created some amazing displays for the calendar reveals.
Oh, very much. One of them that Heather has done is a baking display. The theme of the calendar is, it would be a normal calendar that of activities that their women's group would normally do: knitting, music, baking, only with the fact that the appearance of the person in it is nude, which of course they're not. But the things that she's done for the baking, she has made, cinnamon rolls out of, I think, salt dough. Mm-hmm. And she's made all these little tiny petit fours that stack up in pyramids. And you may not be able to see it, but every single one of those petit fours and every single one of the cupcakes is frosted and decorated. They're all different. It's just remarkable what she's put together to make it just that extra little bit of pop.
Now, our calendar girls themselves, the ladies who end up portraying all these wonderful tableaus during the course of the play, where we actually do the scene where we do the reveals and allegedly photograph them. We have yourself, of course, as Chris, mm-hmm. Mona Campbell as Annie, Donna Rogers as Jessie, Mary McDonald is playing Ruth, and Cora is played by Terry Gaylor. Am I leaving anybody out?
Kathy.
Of course, Kathy Knopf. How can I leave her out as Celia? Because Kathy Knopf kind of is Celia. Once you see the play, you'll see some delightful similarities. But that's, and we'll mention some of the other folks in the play, but that's kind of the heart of it. Those are the gals mm-hmm. that through this WI church organization, they spat, they have fights, but it's mostly about love and friendship and loss and recovery and survival.
Yes, and I don't want anyone to have seen this interview and think, oh my gosh, what a deep subject. Because there is so much humor in this.
Yes.
There are points that we still put our hands over our mouths to not snicker, because some of the lines in the conversations are hysterical. It's just wonderfully well written.
And we have to do a shout out to Hugh Hares, who came to some of our rehearsals. And actually, Hugh, being a native Englishman, came and gave us a little advice on dialect. So we deeply appreciate Hugh giving his time. Let's talk about the rest of the cast. And here again, help me out if I'm forgetting somebody. Mari, who's sort of the chairman of your chapter, and Leslie Moores, who many of you know from the YMCA, is doing a magnificent job there. Donna Patoska is Lady Cravenshire. We have Mandy Galloway, who's playing a little makeup girl by the name of Elaine. And I did my first chance to work with her, and she is drop dead funny. She's doing a wonderful job. I think that's all the ladies. Then when it comes to the other guys, your husband is played by Bryce Donaldson, who's been on the Gaslight stage many a time. Dan Washburn is John, the character who becomes ill and passes away. We have Vincent Fields, who's playing Liam, who comes to shoot a commercial later on in the play. And Chandler Jackson, who's playing the young photographer who gets to photograph all these naked women, and he's kind of befuddled and flustered.
He's doing a wonderful job being an amateur photographer who's just embarrassed as heck to be asked to do this.
Let's talk about kind of the bond between the Calendar Girls, because that really, I think, that comes through on stage. And we've both been doing, theater long enough and other types of performance. And sometimes, you can't necessarily manufacture cohesion, because this group has really come together, and it's a delightful chemistry you guys have.
It's a wonderful group of women, and it's just been so much fun being backstage with them. And there's never a point that you can't. I mean, we change clothes 50 million times in the show, because every scene is a different day, so gotta have different clothes. And there's never a person that you can't turn around and go, "Zip me up, please," or, "Oh my God, do you need help? Because you've got to be out there in 2 seconds." And it's a wonderful group. And we've shared so many hints on how to put on things to shield you and protect your assets. And how would this work? And so it's been really, maybe it's because of the topics. We've gotten closer faster, but it's been a great group of people.
It's going to, I think, come through in the performance, because there really is just kind of a little magical bond between our primary actors. Now, as far as the cost of putting one of these on, there's more money involved than you think. And so I've got to do a quick thank you to Stong Holston Wealth Group, Greg Stong and Keith Holston, who are our producers for Calendar Girls, and it wouldn't be possible if they weren't in there helping out. Of course, behind the scenes, up in the tech booth, doing lighting and sound, we've got Robert Burlow and Whitney Hall and Lanita Krejci backstage, along with Heather Palmer, who we alluded to. We have Nicole Jansen is helping us out, Anna Mary
Brogdon
Williams. And let me see.
Ben.
And of course, Ben Azell, my assistant director, who has built most of the set and has been invaluable. And I hope, and if we're leaving somebody out,
then I'm sorry.
We apologize, because there's a lot of people who work behind the scenes, and we really deeply appreciate that. As far as ages, we've said there may be some material not suitable. What are we thinking? It needs to probably be 14 and above, because there's nothing really awful or bad that happens. But there are a couple of moments of strong language.
There's a couple of moments of strong language, but I would say maybe PG-13.
I think that would, and that's probably what the actual film was rated, Calendar Girls, and the content of that is very similar to what you find in the play version.
And actually, the play is just a shade less risque than the movie was. Mm-hmm. And but I've had some friends who say, my granddaughter has already told me she's coming and she's 9. And so it's like, okay.
Hopefully we shan't scald their eyes and brains with our content.
I don't think so. So there's no, it all just kind of depends on what you let your kids watch anyway. And it's all good-hearted. There's no mean-spiritedness, and it's not, no one is nasty. Even in a moment of frustration that, they're talking a topic, then it's not in a mean-spirited way at all.
No, it's it's not quite family entertainment, but it's not too far away from it because it really is about friendship and warmth and connection. And I think the other thing, we've only got a couple of minutes left, but Carmen, what I love is almost every character that has any time on stage, we get to see an arc of their growth from the way they're first presented to what they've become by the end of this experience. And there again, that's a very kind of positive, empowering type thing.
It really is, because these women are putting themselves on the line to help raise money for a subject that they really feel strongly about, and that they all pull together to make it work in the end.
Now I know we're at that stage where we're getting ready to start dress rehearsal next week. And we've both directed and we've also been on stage, and it's kind of funny how the dynamic is totally different because the director is kind of, your payoff is opening night if you've got a good show. Not to say you're not into all the other performances, and for an actor it doesn't really start getting the payoff until you're actually on stage for the entire run of the show. Talk a little bit about that, because that's one of the things Carmen told me. She said your vibe in terms of your reward from directing is going to be different, and it really is.
It is, because I've directed before, and
I think about 35 to 40 times.
Yeah,
but good.
But it's the payoff is when you're directing is more seeing the project come together as you envisioned it in your mind, and seeing the group work together toward that goal. And for me, for most shows, if I see it opening night, it's well received, and while every crowd is different, that's the main payoff, is getting it there. But if you're acting, oh shoot, you want to do it all of those times in front of the audience and go, oh, they caught that. Last night didn't catch that. Oh, I love this crowd. That kind of thing. So it's a lot more fun that way.
It's a very unusual, cool, it's still, directing is still a wonderful feeling, but it's just the arc is just slightly different and concludes a little faster in terms of the payoff than what the actors get to experience. Well, it is Calendar Girls, written by Tim Firth. It's coming to the Gaslight Theatre. Performances will be Friday and Saturday, May 6th and 7th at 8 p.m. Then that following Sunday, May the 8th at 2 p.m. Then we come around to the following week, and if you got kids, you need to get home early. We have a Thursday night performance, and that will be, I believe, May 12th. Thursday, May 12th, that's at 7 p.m. Then a Friday and Saturday performance will be May 13th and 14th at 8 p.m. Tickets can be purchased online. You can actually look at your seats and buy those bad boys. Just go to gaslighttheatre.org, gaslighttheatre.org, or in the afternoons, Tuesday through Friday, you can go into the Gaslight box office in person, or call us. I believe it's 234-2307. I bet Brother Chris is probably CGing away in the background anyway. So I'm Frank Baker, the director of Calendar Girls. My companion on screen here, Chris, one of the many fine Calendar Girls herself. We want to thank you for watching Community Talk.
Hi, I'm Brenda Bingham with the Blue Star Mothers, and I have with me today Jolene Taylor. She is our treasurer, and she's come on to help me get through this without Karen today. So you want to tell them about our meetings and our packing?
We have our business meeting the second Thursday of every month at 6:30 at our store in the mall, and we pack boxes at 6:30 on the fourth Thursday of every month, and that will be tomorrow night. We'll be packing boxes.
Right. Well, we do this every month, and we have been doing this since 2005. And so we're pretty proud of packing our care packages and sending a piece of home to our troops. So also, we've been out doing a little bit of fundraising. We was out at Walmart and had a good time, and we brought in a lot of donations. Thank you to everybody for their donations. And then we went to Winoka.
Yeah, the big snake hunt.
So would you like to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we went out there on a Friday evening, and then we went back on Saturday, and we really had a good day. I mean, we gave away $361, 50-50, and we have the rate of knives, and we sold a lot of knives, so we really had a good day out there.
So we really appreciate some of these small towns and their inviting us or allowing us to come and be a part of their day.
And plus, we get people from Kansas and all over comes out there.
Right. And I don't know, we just see so many people, and you get to talk to a lot of people, and you get to talk to people that their sons and daughters are going away or they've been there and done that, and it just kind of helps along the way. And we get to see lots of motorcycles, and we get to see lots of the younger kids. Well, I shouldn't say just younger kids, because it's the big kids too, on those 4x4s or whatever
Right out
they
there
are.
at the sand dunes.
And they all have these special uniforms on, and they have so much fun. So,
But I didn't see very many snakes, which I don't want to see the snakes, but you can't go to the den of death, and see them, but that's all right. I don't need to see them.
yeah. Well, and then then we went to Red Dirt Barbecue downtown.
Right.
And it was windy. Oh my gosh, I thought we was gonna blow into Kansas. But we got through that, and it was fun, going through and tasting all the ribs and everything. And then this past weekend we went to O'Keene.
Right.
Another rattlesnake hunt.
Rattlesnake hunt.
And anyway, we had a good weekend, and the weather was a lot nicer, and they had tons of snakes. I did not go in, but I seen pictures.
Said it was like 200 in that.
Yeah, 250, I believe.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But anyway, that's what we do when we are out and about and we're trying to raise money. We get out and we try to let the people, especially in Northwest Oklahoma, know that this is what we do. So this is how we raise money to send the care packages. We try to depend on donations for the rest. You're going to have to take this.
Yes. When we were out to O'Keene, the gentleman that won the 50-50 really did my heart good, because they have 7 children.
I think so.
I had 7 children, and she does baked goods to sell to help to make money. And I called him, and he said he was just like shocked, because he had never won anything in his life. And she had wanted this set of knives, but they just didn't have the money. So being they won this money, he went and bought her this set of knives.
Right. It was really fun to see them win that. So.
Yes, especially with somebody that needs it, did our hearts good.
Mm-hmm. And even though they won, they gave part of it back by purchasing something from us, and so it helps.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm sorry, I have these allergies going on. I'm kind of having an issue here. But as normal, we continue to be out here supporting our troops. We know that we've got a big deployment coming up. So we're trying really hard to continue to raise funds to send the care packages to the troops. We know that there's a unit out of, I think it's Yukon is where they got transferred to. It's 1345th. And I know a unit from out here at the base is going. Yeah. And so if you have someone in your family that's being deployed, just know that we cannot send a care package if you do not give us the name and his address or her address.
And we have to have a return date on that, but just so we get the name and the address so that they can get their packages.
Well, So we would love to give everybody that's going overseas a box. It kind of helps them to realize that even though they're far away, that we're here and we still care about them. And even though they don't know us, we want to make sure that they're getting a care package.
Yeah, and they don't have to be from Enid or Northwest Oklahoma. I mean, if you have a son or daughter that's stationed in Georgia or somewhere, as long as get us their address, we will see that they get a box. And the post office has gone up on each box to $13.45.
45.
And so when you get up in there in the 50s and 60s, it takes quite a bit to send that. But
And if we get the names that we understand that we're getting, we're talking 150 to 175 names.
yep,
And so, and of course, we don't want to leave anyone out.
right.
So we need your help in helping us to be able to send these care packages and to help us give them a taste of home. So,
Another thing that we've been kicking around and thinking about, we would like to get a box trailer that opens on the side so that we could load all of our fundraiser stuff in there and just pull the trailer out there and close it up at night and not have to worry about packing it in the car and bringing it back, and unloading it. And if anybody out there knows of anybody that has a trailer that they would like to either donate or sell very cheaply or help us get, anybody out there can help us get one of these trailers, we'd sure appreciate it.
and we are a 501c3, so you can use it as a tax write-off. We've seen several out and about when we've been to these fundraisers, and they have both they open up in front, and it would be so nice not to have to fight with our tent blowing
Right.
all over the place. And we're all getting older.
Right.
And if you'd have seen us downtown, you'd have been probably standing there laughing because there was two of us holding on for dear life.
It almost, that wind down at the Red Barbecue almost picked me up and set me off of the curb onto the street, but.
It was something else. But we do the best we can with what we have. But I've been checking, with a new trailer or something like that, and they're kind of pricey. They're around $6,000 to $8,000. But I just think that it would be really nice for us to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I have a Dodge Durango, so I can pull it,
That's right.
It's no big deal there.
Yeah. So anyway, for the rest of the summer, we'll kind of slow down a little bit. It gets hot, and so it's kind of hard to get out and do some of these. We have a couple of fundraisers waiting, that we're kind of waiting to see what happens there. And then other than that, our next fundraiser is not until August. But we will be taking care of, we'll be helping with Memorial Day services out at Woodring Veterans Park. And just try to remember all of the fallen and the Gold Star families. And a lot of people get through this weekend going to the lake and having fun, but for some people, military people especially, that have lost their sons and daughters, it means so much more. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers, and just remember, freedom's not free.
That's right.
I'm so sorry. I hate these allergies. But if you can, stop by our store. We're open on Thursdays and Fridays from 10 to 5. And I may not be able to do this.
If you stop in, we can show you how our shelves are really packed from our Walmart, fundraiser where they donated all these food products and stuff. And if you stop in, we'll show you around, or just stop in and sit and visit. You don't have to even do anything. Just come in and visit with us, We always like to see people come in.
And it's always fun if you're sitting there and somebody drops in to say, hey, I received a box.
Yes, it is.
Or we get the note that says, hey, thank you so much. It meant so much. And so, we just want to thank everybody that helps us. Thank all of Northwest Oklahoma.
And we are allowed to cut the stars off of the retired flags. And we have a little saying, and we put it in a little plastic bag. And any veteran or serviceman that comes in that doesn't have one, we gladly give them this star. And to some of those veterans, it means so much. It almost puts some of them in tears,
It does.
But it makes you feel good to be able to give them something back,
Right.
Just a small star is something.
And then once we do that, then we turn right around and we go ahead and retire the flag like it's supposed to be retired. So, but it's time for us to go. Thank you for putting up with me today. And thank you for everyone who helps us. Being our moms, they put in so much time helping us, and they put up with all the weather, same as Jolene and I or whoever. I want to thank our families for helping us. If it wasn't for them, sometimes we couldn't do this too. So, but especially the people of Enid and all of this area. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you, Enid Television, and whoever touches our lives, however they touch our lives. And please continue to be in prayers for our country, for our soldiers, troops, whatever you want to call them. They're all fighting for our freedom. Right. And we thank them so very, very much. Do you have anything you'd like to say right quick?
Well, I just, like Brenda said, thank everybody. And when we do have those soldiers come in and thank us for the boxes, it just goes right to your heart,
It does, because you know what? When your son or daughter is deployed, and that's the hardest thing that you think you'll ever have to go through, we remember, and we remember why they're over there, and so we remember what it feels like. So our hearts are with you. We're with the families that's seeing their sons and daughters deploy. So again, keep them in your thoughts and prayers. I hope that everybody has a great Memorial Day, and I'm sure we'll see you again before then, but until then, we thank you again.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Matt Lohman, CEO of Hope Outreach Ministries. Welcome to Community Talk. With me today I have Doug Bushman, my Director of Retail Ministry, and we're going to tell you a little bit about the Thrift Store and possibly let you see how you could help us out at Hope Outreach Ministries as well. So welcome, Doug. Welcome to Community Talk.
Good to be here.
Glad you could make it and be here with me today. Just have some questions for you today. Hopefully your answers will be able to help the folks at home be able to know a little bit more about Hope Outreach and what they can do, especially the Thrift Store. A lot of people know where it is. We're a pretty well-known spot, but they don't know everything about us, even though they may think they know. They don't know everything. But first of all, for some of those folks who haven't been to our thrift store, which shame on them if they haven't been here.
Agreed.
But if they haven't been to our thrift store, what are some of the things they could expect to see in our thrift store?
There's a huge variety of items. Of course, there's clothing. There's a lot of donations. We sort out the best that we can. and save that for our thrift store customers. The remainder gets sold to companies which, again, sell those to developing countries around the world. And so it doesn't get wasted.
Right. So a
And
lot
then-
of recycle.
Right, right. And then there's just a variety of housewares, dishes, lawn equipment. There's collectibles that come in. Baseball cards like crazy at times. There's sporting goods, a lot of furniture, and just a lot of other unique items that are just too numerous to be named.
Yeah. Kitchen sink?
There are kitchen sinks too.
Everything in the kitchen
If
sink.
you don't see one back in our appliance room, ask for one. We probably have more.
Yeah. Now, I have to ask, I know that one thing that we don't accept donated anymore is mattresses. Why is that we don't accept donated mattresses?
Donated mattresses for quite some time have really been illegal to sell because they can harbor insects. And so we're unable to resell those due to law. There are some mattresses that we can take as donations, and that's medical beds. Those mattresses are completely sealed. And then baby crib mattresses that are not torn or otherwise could harbor insects. We're able to take those, and we have to treat them and certify them.
Okay. And if somebody wants a mattress, though, from Hope Outreach,
We sell product from Chicago Mattress Company, a variety of different quality levels and different pillow top quality, and those are completely refurbished. The metal frame is used, springs are replaced, all the foam, the cotton, all the quilting and that type of thing's brand new, and they back those up with a 10-year replacement policy.
well, another question, Doug, and I've heard this over my years at Hope Outreach. Hey, you know, all the stuff's donated, minus your mattresses. Everything's donated. So why do you guys charge for it? Why are you charging for the things that you have, or why do you charge so much for something, even though our average price per item is under $3?
Well, firstly, I can't get the electrical company and the gas companies to donate their services for free,
Right.
nor the insurance for coverage. Buildings cost money to maintain. Employees have to be paid.
Yeah.
In addition to that, the additional revenues that are left over after those expenses go to support the various ministries that Hope Outreach engages in, transitional housing, a parenting ministry, a homeless shelter, and within the store itself, community care where folks can come in and earn food, earn a voucher for food, earn clothing, earn gas vouchers, and that type of thing.
Okay, very good. So that's part of the reason why when somebody comes in and says, hey, I just really need a couch, can you give me a couch? And the purpose is?
Well, I can't say it hasn't been done. Okay? There are some emergency cases that we have responded in that manner. Generally speaking, those donations are given for a purpose for the Ministry of Hope Outreach to support those other ministries, and that's why we sell them instead of just giving them away every time. If we did it on a daily basis as often as we're requested, certainly the revenues would be struck down a lot, and it'd be very difficult to support those other ministries if we honored every request that way.
Right.
That is not that we're cold-hearted about it, because there have been situations where we have done that. So.
Yeah. But the main intent is to really fund the other ministries and keep them going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what I get charged with, so
That's what you do.
I have to hold the line on that a lot of
That's
times.
right. The other thing about the thrift store is that the folks that work in there, because it's quite an operation. I mean, we take in a lot of things, we recycle a lot, and then everything has to be sorted, priced, put out, rung up, delivered a lot of times, picked up. Those are all volunteers that do that?
Well, they're paid employees, and there's truck expenses. You know, like I said, there's insurance expenses and all those expenses that go into running a business. They apply to Hope Outreach also.
Yeah. So besides actually funding the other ministries, 90% of our funding comes from the thrift store sales. We're also an employment ministry, so we have to actually give opportunity to about 26 to 30 employees. Can you share some of the backgrounds of a lot of those employees that we employ?
Well, first of all, I want to cheer on that core group that works at Hope Outreach for the reason that they're there to participate in the ministry.
Right.
Okay. Then a good portion, I'd say 2/3 of our employees they have backgrounds that make it difficult for them to get a job somewhere else. They may be struggling with substance abuse recovery. They may just have a poor work ethic. They've been brought up in a situation where work ethic was not taught to them. Some may have disabilities and they need a placement on jobs also.
Very good. And some out of incarceration as well.
Directly out of Department of Corrections is not unusual for us.
Yeah, which those folks have a really hard time getting a job someplace else when they come out. So give them that opportunity. So these folks that we have coming in and we're trying to help and everything else, they're all successful?
That would be great. That's not the case. We try to throw a lifeline out there for people who will grab it, and we show a lot of leniency at times and trying to help them get on their feet and get that discipline that it takes to come to work, stay at work, and work hard while they're there. We also just have a good listening ears within the ministry too, and we pray for those individuals.
Right.
But is it 100% successful? No. We see some people we've had to let go just because the policy gets stretched that far. But there are successes, and obviously that's the more enjoyable part.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but there are those who are out there that have gone through Hope Outreach. They're working very productively at jobs. Not only that, their family life has improved hugely, and just successes in many different areas of their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a blessing to get to see that, especially be a part of it. Now we talked about what we sell, so that means then on the other side of things, what kind of donations do we accept?
We accept donations of all saleable items almost. There are things with alcohol logos and that type of thing that we don't sell. And obviously we just mentioned we don't take used bedding. Some furniture items that are really, really in bad shape we'll refuse because we have to haul them out to the junkyard ourselves and pay for the weight out there. So we'll refuse some of those things sometimes, but anything that's saleable, generally speaking, we'll take it. In clothing, if anything is wet or mildewed, then we have to reject that.
Okay, all right. Is there any items right now that you'd really like to see start coming into the thrift store that are, we enjoy all items, but are there any right now, especially this time of year, that would be really helpful if somebody had them?
Absolutely. One thing we've seen slow down in the past months has been some furniture and appliances. So if those are out there, in saleable condition, we'd love to have them, and we'd be very grateful to have them.
And real quickly as well, if someone donates, we give them what?
We give them a tax receipt so they can write it off.
Claim it on their taxes,
Yeah,
so they don't have to sit at a yard sale doing all that stuff. They can just claim that on their taxes and hopefully make it a little easier.
Absolutely.
Okay. We talk about the items, lifeblood of a thrift store is the donated items. We need those things. What happens when somebody comes through and we're not open? Sundays we're closed, and we are also closed after 7 on the weekdays, 9 on Friday and Saturday. So what happens to those items if they drop them off after hours?
I'd like to tell you that they stay dry and they stay safe. It's completely the opposite. They get rifled through, they are stolen. We can see it on our videos. And I think I've used the word decimated before. It's a mess, and very seldom do they make it through an evening or a night without disappearing or being destroyed or vandalized.
Which is so sad, because that's not the intent of the person dropping them off in the first place.
Right, and so if we could get a call ahead of time, we'd love to say, yes, we're open here, take it here. You bring those items in from 9 o'clock in the morning till 7 p.m. Through the weekdays, or 9 o'clock in the morning till 8 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. and we'll process them just as quickly as possible so they don't get wet, so they don't get stolen.
Very good. And where can people drop them? Where would that be a good spot?
We take the larger items at the north side of the thrift store, like furniture and bicycles and appliances, that type of thing. The smaller items is a block and a half east down the alley. We have a sorting warehouse there, and we take the smaller items there, and it's well signed so you can see it.
Okay. So now I know sometimes when somebody does have a whole yard sale or something like that, and maybe they didn't have a good sale. Sometimes it rains on your yard sale day, and instead of putting everything back in the garage or the attic, they just want to get rid of it. What could they do?
Give us a call. Okay. We do have a truck running every day except a Wednesday and Sunday, and so you can call and we'll arrange a pickup for you. That happens a lot of late Saturday afternoons on garage sales, and then Monday mornings often we'll be picking the remains of garage sales up at those times.
Okay, very good. With our store, we oftentimes have some needs from the outside world, people with special skills or talents. If they had a little extra time, they didn't have anything to donate, but they could offer some time maybe. What are some areas that we could use help with?
Well, again, I'd like to commend those who are volunteering for us already. We have people who are working on small engines and bicycles.
Yes.
Other people are volunteering and coming in and cleaning our shelves and that type of thing also. So I'm very grateful for those people already. The volunteers that we could use are anybody who has special skills in carpentry or roofing. We have buildings maintained. They're almost in constant need that something can be done. And of course, volunteer groups do come in, and what we hope from that is they don't only have a good experience in volunteering for Hope Outreach, but volunteerism in its fullness can be really realized, and that's that there's a commitment for a midterm or a long term in volunteerism, and that's what is really, really valuable, because then we can count on that person being there, and we can count on that extra time given and those services given, and that is just super. We do have those individuals coming in to do that, and it's great.
That's awesome. Well, a lot of opportunity at Hope Outreach, and a lot of opportunity we try to provide for the community. Again, we thank you so much for your support. Thank you, Doug, for being here with me today and answering the questions and being the big talker here for us. If you have any more questions about Hope or the thrift store, you can call 237-4673 at Hope Outreach Ministries. We'd be glad to answer any of those questions. We just really appreciate you spending your time with us today and learning about Hope Outreach Thrift Store. And I'm Matt Lohman, CEO of Hope Outreach Ministries. Again, Doug Bushman, Retail Director Director of Retail Ministry, with you today from Hope Outreach. Until next time, goodbye.